I think I think that today we will go deeper. We will start going more into physiology as it relates to the internal organs, because one of the organs that I have the greatest concern about is the heart. And I was just getting some statistics yesterday, and they were saying that between the heart and the pancreas, our community is in big trouble. They were saying that in Austin, the Austin community, which is a community that I lived in for some years, they say it was 91% diabetes, 91%. And and with the heart, they were saying it was over 50%. So these are two of the major culprits that is putting our community in harm's way. So today I was going to do a more extensive presentation dealing with the heart and dealing with the heart attacks and dealing with prevention and dealing with cholesterol. And so this is going to be more of a interactive and more of a visual presentation as well as more of a PowerPoint presentation. These were presentations that I used to do that were much more extensive. And here lately in the series of presentations we have done up until now, I was really mainly focusing on how we could prevent Alzheimer's and how we needed to look at the environment and our internal environment. So today, without further ado, I'm going to take us into the heart, preventing the heart attacks and what have you.
I'm going to ask everyone to just kind of mute themselves because we don't want any feedback. Dr. Hapi sounds really good right now. So if we can get everyone to mute themselves except for Dr. Hapi, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to start. If you can allow me to have the share, if you can share with me. Let's see if you can share with me where I can have the screen. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna share. Go to
Is this being recorded?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Okay. Start here. Can everyone see my screen? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the heart. Okay. No more heart disease. Would that be all right, everyone? Okay. I know everyone is sharing, so I'll just everyone said yes. All right. Okay. All right. So in this outline, we're going to deal with heart problems. We're going to deal with warning signs, common causes. We're going to talk about a technology that I got exposed to some years ago. And we're going to, in this particular technology, we were dealing with testing. This was some very advanced technology. And what it would do, it was like some James Bond. James Bond deal with some real advanced type of technology. This was some James Bond type of technology. It was a watch. We could put it on your wrist and it would actually tell us how old your heart was at whatever age you was. So it was looking at more physiology rather than chronology. And so this particular technology, we would connect this technology with some super supplements that would change the heart. So we had one patient, her blood pressure was 200 over 131. She had had a heart attack, and the 230 over 131 was with meds. They could not get her heart any lower than that. They called it malignant hypertension. So if any of you all know about malignant cancer, you know that they say, well, there's nothing else that can help malignant cancer. You're going to die with that. And so this was some technology that we got exposed to, and we started testing our patients, and we started giving them these nutrients and working with their nutrition. The patient whose blood pressure was 230 over 131, we brought it down to 110 over 70. And she was 63 years old. And so, along with this technology that Dr. Blessman know of, that we deal with the breathing, all of this was incorporated in her protocol, treatment protocol that brought her heart back to a healthy state. So we're going to go down a little further, and we're going to say, okay, the common causes of the heart problem. We look at high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high LDL, and high triglycerides. So we're going to go into a clip to talk about this. We're going to go into a clip. So let's go into a clip. Let's go here. We'll start here.
Can anybody hear his video?
No, haven't heard a thing.
Okay. So Dr. Hapi, we can't hear the video.
You say you cannot hear the video?
No, sir.
No one can hear the video?
No, we haven't been able to hear it.
Now we have shared. Did we share the screen with me?
We see the screen, but we don't hear it.
Okay, let me see. Let me go back. Let me see. Let me go back. Let's see what's happening.
Yeah, I talked to Judy. Do you remember Judy down in the accounting office? And you've got something to talk to them about.
I'd also make sure the volume on your actual computer is not muted as well.
So you want to,
Okay, the computer is okay. It's not muted. You hear me talking, right?
Yes.
This is strange because I can hear the presentation myself. Okay, let's see. Maybe this. That's interesting. Let's try it again. Because if you can hear me, you should be able to hear this. Can you hear it now?
No, unfortunately.
Can everybody hear it?
No.
Dr. Hapi, check your settings on that particular app. Like, check your volume settings. There is a little thing over on the right-hand side.
Okay, on the right-hand side, it looks okay. The volume looks okay here on the right-hand side.
Okay, click on the three dots and see if there's anything else there.
Okay, the three dots says equalizer, speed. Let's see, video.
Go to video settings.
Okay. All right, video enhancements,
No.
zoom to fill, rotate. That's all that
Click
was.
up there on, click and see what the properties has under it, if there's anything else.
Properties. No. Nothing there.
Yeah, because we can't hear your video at all.
Wow, that's strange. Okay. All right, well, see if you can hear this next. See if you can hear this next video. See if you can hear this one. Let's see if you can hear this. Can you hear this one?
No, the same.
No.
And let me see what this.
It's just not clear.
Can everybody hear now? Did you hear now?
It's the same. Dr. Hapi, go up there where it says media player and click on that.
Wait, hold 1 second. Hold 1 second. Let's see. Let me see.
Was actually gone now, but it's something about your settings where you're playing off the audio.
Wait. Now you say go where now?
See up there when you have the thing open, it says media player. Come down. It's in the upper left-hand corner.
Okay, over here, media player. Okay, up here. Uh-huh.
Will it let you click on it?
Let's see.
No.
Okay. All right. So we can't do that because it seems like something between my media player and you all you're not hearing.
So did we try that volume button on the
I have the
lower
volume
left,
on
lower right? Yeah.
Yeah, we tried that, Dr. Blessman.
because
Okay.
everybody can hear me. Everybody can hear
Everybody can
me.
hear you.
They should have been hearing the videos that I was playing. Okay. All right.
Dr. Hapi, when you share that video,
Uh-huh.
it might say share window. You want to share screen.
Okay,
And find this
okay,
screen.
so here, okay, let's see. Share screen. I only have one option that says share. So let's see if advanced. Maybe advanced. Maybe I need to go to advanced. You think that? Video. Let's see, request and remote control. Okay,
That's
no.
me. That's me.
Okay, PowerPoint. Computer audio. Audio is on.
Okay.
Sound. I got share sound. That's on.
Okay, so you see your audio button over there to the right.
Uh-huh. Audio.
Click on that for me.
The audio, but you talking about this where it says computer audio?
No, not that one, not at your toolbar, but inside of
Where it
that.
says where it says share sound?
Yeah, share the sound.
Okay, so I clicked that. That was on. That was
Okay. Okay, now there is a audio button that is inside your video module, the application. It's right next to like the arrows that go up, one go down. That's an audio button.
Lower,
Where
you
is
talking about
that
the
at?
button at the lower right?
Lower right.
My lower right. Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
about down here?
Yeah, check that for
Oh
me.
yeah, that one was okay. I had checked that. That was
Okay.
okay.
And now what I want you to do is, it's that same audio button. I want you to click it and click it again.
Okay, I'm gonna click it off and click it back on, right?
And then play your
Play it
song.
again.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. You want to hear it now?
No.
It's low. It's coming through a different speaker.
Okay, let me do this. Let me put, let me try my portable speaker. Let me see if this will,
Okay, if you could attach them, yeah.
this is not my speaker, actually. This is, no, this is not the speaker. This is my mic. Let me see
Okay,
if, let me see if the mic will feed back
pick it up.
and come in and let's see if you all can hear it that way. Let me do that.
You might
Okay.
get some feedback, but okay.
The aorta to the body.
You go.
And
Tissues
now,
with oxygen.
Yes, sir.
4 valves within your heart keep your blood
okay, let
moving
me
the right
let me
way.
start it back again.
The tricuspid, mitral, pulmonary,
Okay.
and aortic valve.
Mm.
Okay.
Your heart is a
Okay,
pump.
let me
It's a muscular
clear
organ
this.
about the size of your fist and is located slightly left of center in your
That
chest.
does sound better.
Your heart is divided into the right and left side. The division protects oxygen-rich blood from mixing with oxygen-poor blood. Together, your heart and blood vessels comprise your cardiovascular system, which circulates blood and oxygen around your body.
Can everybody see that?
In fact, your heart pumps about 5 quarts of blood every minute, and it beats about 100,000 times in one day. That's about 35 million times in a year.
It went out again.
Mm.
No sound, Dr. Hapi.
Still no sound.
You don't hear now?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Okay. How about now?
Blood coming from the upper chambers, the left and right atrium.
Yes.
Then the cycle starts over again. Your heart is nourished by blood too. Blood vessels called coronary arteries extend over the surface of your heart and branch into smaller capillaries. Here you can see just the network of blood vessels that feed your heart with oxygen-rich blood. Your heart also has electrical wiring, which keeps it beating. Electrical impulses begin high in the right atrium and travel through specialized pathways to the ventricles, delivering the signal to pump. The conduction system keeps your heart beating in a coordinated and normal rhythm, which in turn keeps blood circulating. The continuous exchange of oxygen-rich blood with oxygen-poor blood is what keeps you alive.
Okay. All right. So let's speak on this for a moment as it relates to the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So as we get older, our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, they start losing tone. And when they lose tone, there's nothing to keep the heart functioning at a normal rate, what we would call homeostasis. So what happens is that what keeps the heart really pumping at a greater degree is when we are stimulating the heart beyond normal activities. Normal activities do not give the heart the extra stimulation that it needs so that it can stay strong to stay well. So I don't know if you all have heard of a condition. It's called tubular hypotension and AFib. It's called AFib. You all have heard of AFib, right?
I have heard of AFib. My
Yes.
husband has that.
Yes.
Okay, you all have heard of tubular hypertension is in the brain. It's in the brain. And AFib is in the heart. So sometimes they have to put a defibrillator. They have to put a electrical device in your heart to keep it balanced so your electrical system won't short circuit and your heart just stop. So what happens is that the breathing system that I incorporated, that I created to stimulate the heart, it has the ability to stimulate the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So by doing that, it helps to strengthen the heart. It helps to make the heart get stronger or stay stronger as we get older. So when I was conducting classes on the South Side at the Kroc Center, the people who had the worst conditions had the worst heart conditions. So we started an exercise program with them with just breathing, and we would only do 3 breaths. And we would ask anyone to raise their hand if they were dizzy in just breathing 3 breaths, because it let us know just how weak their heart was, and those people could have a stroke. And so as we would have them come to classes twice a week, the breathing got stronger because we were stimulating the nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system. We were toning up the nervous systems, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So eventually, over time, we got them to 200 breaths. We would ask them, raise your hand if you are dizzy in your head. They would not be raising their hands because their heart was getting stronger. What we noticed also was that as the heart got stronger, their limbs got stronger because they would have to bring a chair off a rack, bring it onto the floor, open the chair and sit in the chair to do the exercise. And then they would have to take the chair back to the rack and put it back on the rack. And we noticed them being able to get stronger, move faster, and have more energy just from gentle stimulation. Now, when we talk about that in relationship to the baby, that's the baby is stimulating the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system when the baby is crying. And what happens when the baby over time is crying, the baby is strengthening the internal organs because the baby is stimulating the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. The crying is a stimulation, not just getting oxygen to the heart and the other organs, but stimulating them with the cry. So this is where the breathing comes in and why I created this program with the breathing. Now, let's go back to let's go back to now another diagram. Let's go back to here. Okay, we said that we would have these problems, these common causes. Okay, we talked about this technology that we were using. Now let's go here. Can everybody see this? Everybody see this? This is the arterial plaque.
Okay, yes.
I was showing another video that shows this plaque. I'm gonna come back to it. And they're saying that your endothelial cell lining is slick. They're saying that it's supposed to not hold plaque on it, but the plaque can be inside the wall of your artery. And this is when they talk about unhealthy epithelial cell lining that starts to develop the plaque, and then the plaque start to make your hole of your artery smaller. And then when the hole gets smaller, then it's easy for a blood clot to go through. Well, what is a blood clot? A blood clot is a lot of blood cells that are now sticking together. That's why they call it a clot. It's a group of blood cells because you're not getting enough oxygen. When you get enough oxygen, the blood cells separate and they have their own individual space within the plasma. And so it's harder to get a blood clot. So what happened, when we introduced these supplements created more nitric oxide. How many of you all have heard of this? Nitric oxide.
Yes.
It's a chemical that's created when your blood is being stimulated properly with nutrients and with oxygen, and it would help to keep your heart and your arteries healthy. Now, let's go back to here. I want to show you this next. Let's see. Let me show you this next slide. Okay, I'm going to show you this next.
In healthy coronary arteries, the blood flows without obstruction. In diseased coronary arteries, a fatty substance called plaque forms in the artery walls, and as the disease advances, may bulge out into the path of the onrushing blood, blocking the oxygen and nutrients the heart desperately needs, and from time to time, causing symptoms like chest pains and shortness of breath. But heart attacks result more often from plaque that does not protrude into the artery itself, but remains hidden in the artery wall.
One of the scariest things about coronary artery disease is that it can remain silent for so long. You can have plaque buildup in the coronary that isn't causing you any problem, doesn't cause you any symptoms, doesn't even cause a positive stress test, but suddenly ruptures. Ruptures, it causes a blood clot to form, the rest of the coronary artery, the rest of the pipe suddenly gets blocked, and a heart attack occurs. And that's really the most common cause of heart attack. This is what kills people, often in the primes of their lives.
All plaque is dangerous, but some plaques are unstable, on the verge of rupture. Scientists are today trying to determine how to identify the unstable plaque, while doctors try and help patients minimize their risks.
Okay. All right, now let's come back here. Let's come back to here. Now, we were talking about the plaque. So now, as we talk about the plaque, we got to go into here. Remember when I talked about nitric oxide? NO stands for nitric oxide. Okay. Say yes to nitric oxide, boosting fitness. So what is the breathing that we do? We're creating fitness. We're creating cardio fitness. That's what the breathing does. It strengthens the heart by making the blood and the walls become stronger and making the blood move better because you're pulling in more oxygen. So we say, what should we do to boost this NO, this nitric oxide? We say, well, we should exercise in moderation. We say we will receive measurable benefits such as lowering blood pressure, LDL, as a reduced risk of plaque. Commit to at least 20 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. So if I ask you all these questions, do any of you all jog? You might say no. If I say, do any of you all have a stationary bike at home where you could practice just getting on that stationary bike and working with that? Hopefully, some of you all might say, yes, Dr. Happy, I have a stationary bike and I get on it 3 times a week and I work with it 20 minutes 3 times a week. And so that would help with boosting the nitric oxide. If I was to say, do any of you all go swimming? Some of you all might say, yes, Dr. Happy, I go swimming. Well, what is that? That is your arms and legs moving through the water, stimulating circulation and triggering what? Nitric oxide. That's what NO stands for, nitric oxide. If I say, do any of you all into rowing a boat? Perhaps not, especially in the wintertime because the water is frozen and what have you. But they have rowing machines at home. They have rowing machines at health clubs now. If I say, do any of you all play tennis? Some of you all might not say, you may say no. If I say, do any of you all walk? Do you walk? Can you get up every day and do at least 5,000 steps? Yes, you can do that. It's stimulation, it's exercise. It triggers nitric oxide. If I say, do any of you all play pickleball? That's a new exercise system now. They have these pickleballs at these health clubs, at these park districts. I want you all to be looking at that. It's a form of exercise to keep you moving, to keep the blood moving, to create nitric oxide. If I say, do any of you all play basketball? Maybe not. Do any of you all play squash? Maybe not.
Pickleball.
Well, some of you all might, but mostly, especially if you get up in age, you might not. And then I say, do any of you all do yoga? Do you even do chair yoga? Because when I was teaching the elders who were in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, we were doing chair yoga. We were doing chair qigong, and the exercise were so gentle. They were so easy. The people, they loved it. My classes, I had 60, 70, 80 people in the class. The class, they had to give me the big room because the people were coming there. They would come in their wheelchairs. They would be on their walkers. They would be on their canes. And we started bringing them off their canes, bringing them off their walkers, getting them healthy again. If I say, I know, probably not. Any of you all do cross-country skiing? Probably not. Because again, skiing, you might break your leg. So, but not, I don't want to put nothing negative out there. But if I say, do any of you all jump rope?
No.
Maybe not. And then rollerblading can be dangerous, but if you learned it when you were younger, it's something that some people can do. Some of my friends, they're in their 70s, they go roller skating. They go roller skating. It's not too many people roller blading because that came out later. If I say, how many of you all are doing gardening? Like myself, I have 11 beds. They're 8 by 10. They're 5 by 5. They're 8 by 6. They're large beds because we give away food. When we grow the food, we give it to our patients. We give them the food. Can we start a garden on your porch? Yes. Can you even start growing a tomato plant? Yes. Can you grow some Swiss chard? Yes. You just drop a couple of seeds in some soil and away you go. Now, I know this last one. I know most of you all do this. If I say, how many of you all have danced to Michael Jackson lately? Thriller, or what's the other one? I'm Bad, right? How many of us can get up and just do a little movement there? Shake the hips and the shoulders and get the cobwebs out the body, because all that is stimulating nitric oxide. All that is boosting the push of the blood because you're stimulating the sympathetic nervous systems. Critical. It's critical to create movement, because if you don't create movement, you are not stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. And if you don't, the heart won't get extra stimulation, so it cannot move more blood. It cannot get more oxygen in blood. What I'm saying is the oxygen we're getting in the blood is too low. It's just too low. And what happens, the blood becomes challenged. So the blood will go into a spasm because it's not even getting enough oxygen, not even talking about the plaque, but the oxygen also. So we have to get movement going. Walking is the easiest. All of us should get one of these watches, the Fib, they call it the Fib, right? And this watch can show how many steps you make. One of my neighbors, when we were little, she became my patient just in this last year and a half, and she was on a cane with back pain. She was 50 pounds overweight. We put her into our program.
This meeting is being recorded.
We put her into our program. She's lost 45 pounds now. She does 14,000 steps, and she breathes like Dr. Blessman. I don't know if you all heard Dr. Blessman breathe, but she can go. And so this person is 70, she'll be 73 now. She can breathe better than LeBron James. She can breathe better than Stephen Curry. She can breathe better than the best athletes. So what I'm saying is that through action, we all can get better. All right. So now, what is the benefits? What is the benefits of us doing this work? We can tone our vascular system. We can decrease high blood pressure. We can decrease coagulation. No more blood clots. We can decrease inflammation. No more.
Dr. Hapi, turn your mic off.
Okay, turn my mic off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Hold on. You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's go back. We say these are the benefits if we do the exercise and start changing what we're eating. Oxidation, no more oxidative stress if we stimulate the heart. The results, no more heart attacks and strokes if we stimulate the heart. But we're going to have to work with nutrition too, which I'm going to get into in a few minutes. But I'm just right now going over the cornerstone of what we got to be doing if we are trying to get healthier. All right. So now let's go back to here. Let's look at another video. So wait a minute. Let me see. I'm gonna put this back in. All right.
Cholesterol. You hear the word a lot, but what exactly is cholesterol and why should you be concerned about it?
Cholesterol is a fatty substance found among the lipids in the bloodstream and in cells throughout the body. Cholesterol is not inherently bad. In fact, cholesterol is naturally occurring and plays an important role in the formation of cell membranes and in the manufacturing of hormones. But the body only needs a small amount of cholesterol to carry out most of these functions. It is only when the body has too much cholesterol that it becomes a potential health risk. Cholesterol and other fats cannot dissolve in the bloodstream, so they need to be transported into and out of cells by special carriers called lipoproteins. Cholesterol is carried by two of these, low-density lipoprotein, known as LDL, and high-density lipoprotein, known as HDL. When the amount of cholesterol in the bloodstream increases, the body needs to create additional lipoproteins LDL cholesterol has become known as the bad cholesterol because when there is too much of it in the bloodstream, it tends to build up in the arterial walls, forming plaque. This plaque buildup clogs and hardens the arteries, a condition known as atherosclerosis. This can lead to heart attack or stroke. HDL cholesterol has been dubbed the good cholesterol because it seems to actually aid in removing cholesterol from the body by carrying it away from the arteries and back to the liver, where it is passed from the body. Determining your cholesterol level is easy and can be done with a simple blood test. The normal level of cholesterol for any individual depends upon their age, weight, and sex. But typically an LDL cholesterol level of above 160 milligrams per deciliter is considered high. Similarly, an HDL cholesterol level below 40 milligrams per deciliter would usually be considered too low. Either high LDL levels or low HDL levels can put you at risk for plaque buildup. The first and easiest way to reduce cholesterol is to restrict your fat intake. High cholesterol is an important factor in heart disease and stroke, and managing your cholesterol is an important part of a healthy lifestyle. The good news is that there are many effective ways to manage high cholesterol, as you can see from other films in this library. However, an important first step towards a heart-healthy lifestyle should be to see your doctor and find out your cholesterol level.
Want to learn more? Check out other videos and sources on this site for more information.
Okay, so if I was to ask you all, how many of you all get your blood pressure checked quarterly? How many of you all do that? How many of you all get your cholesterol checked quarterly? Because in order to stay healthy, you have to be like you would do your car. You know, when your car gets 3,000 miles, you're supposed to take it in and get an oil change. You're supposed to get the old oil taken out and the new oil put in. So if we say your oil change in your car would be something like cholesterol, it would be oil that's dirty. And if you don't get it changed, it's going to start wearing out your engine, and your engine would be like your heart. So if I ask all of you, how many of you all get your oil change after 3,000 miles on your car?
It's after 5,000 miles now, Dr. Hapi. That's old cars.
I have a 1997 Lincoln.
That's old cars. Now we use synthetic oil.
How many get your oil changed with 5,000?
I do. I get my numbers checked every 3 to 6 months.
Okay, well, everyone should, because between the time you got it checked and the next time, that's when the cholesterol can go up. But if you're watching what you eat, that's how you become the steward, the custodian, the one who observes. You watch what you eat. That's one of the ways of the protection, to watch what you eat. So we say, well, what should you cut out? What should you cut out that would be more harmful with cholesterol? Should you cut out eating a bunch of creamy foods? Should you cut that out? Yes. Should you cut out a lot of cheese? Yes.
All cheese.
Yes.
You don't need cheese.
That's right. In China, they don't even eat cheese in China. It's
And
not
we don't need it.
We don't need
kills the kidneys and the heart. We don't
That's
need
right. And the prostate also. And
Yes.
don't forget the prostate. Now, also, we don't need all the red meats that we eat because they have cholesterol. When they say marbled, they say there's a steak here and it's marbled. That's the white that you see in there. That's the cholesterol that will clog up the arteries. Now, let's go back to.
Well, why are you going back, Dr. Harvey? A lot of health coverage and insurance don't allow you to take it back.
I couldn't hear. Someone said
A lot
something.
of health insurance don't allow you to check your cholesterol that many times.
Wait. Someone said.
A lot of health
What they
insurance
said.
don't allow you to do a cholesterol check like 3 times a year without, paying extra. Depends on what you have. So that's an issue for a lot of people too.
I still didn't hear that. It was
A lot of people's health insurance don't allow them to do that cholesterol check 3 times a year. So that's an issue for some people. So I've got to pay for it depending on what
so
you have.
yes, so if that is the case, then we must watch what we eat even more so, like myself. Because I've been a vegan for 54 years, when I go and get my cholesterol tested, when I go and get my blood sugar tested, they all the tests come out well because of what I'm eating, what I'm putting into the body. And also my my activity. I do 10 to 15,000 breaths every day, like Dr. Blessman, and I breathe it very fast. And so it's like running. It's like running. So it stimulates my arteries, it pushes the oxygen into my cells, and it keeps my cells moving at a very active state, just like if I was running like LeBron James up and down the courts. And so the doctors say, well, you're not on any medication? No, I'm not on any medication. Well, how is that? Everybody else that come in, they're on medication. They got heart problems. They're taking a bunch of medication. Well, early on, I was sick when I had sarcoidosis. And at 20 years old, I was sick like everybody else, but at an earlier age. So it inspired me to get into my health more so that so that I could get healthier, so that I could get the body to be working better. So now here we go. We're gonna look further.
They don't like people like you, Dr. Harpy, because the doctors want people to be sick so they can push their nasty drugs on them and kill them.
Well, the thing is, though, they don't like people like me, but we have to create the new frontier.
Well,
We
we're
have to.
working on it. We're working on it. This group, we're working on it. I have everybody reading the green smoothie book, so we're gonna get there. Right, Dr. Cato?
Yep, absolutely.
We're gonna get there, Dr. Hoppy. We're gonna make some of them mad.
Okay, well, this is what we want to do. We want to make them mad, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I'm just saying that's a good thing that you
That's a
are,
good
but I
thing.
know they get angry at you because even when I turn 50, different people will start texting my phone, do you need to go to the cardiologist? No, I hope I never need to go to a cardiologist. And I don't even know. No. So I know they don't like people that don't take their medicines.
That's true. That's true. They don't. They don't. That's true. That's true.
So
Now,
we're gonna make them real mad because we're gonna make our group all healthy and heart healthy.
that's right. Heart healthy is what we want. We want to be heart healthy.
Exactly, and cholesterol free. So all of that stuff will go away. So they
Right.
will not make any money off of us.
Not because what? Who are you all? Who are you all?
Rolls
You're,
Royces.
you're the goddesses. You're the
Yes,
ones
we are
who's supposed to be walking
Auset-Isis.
with the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right. Now let's go. Let's go a little further. Let's go a little further. Now, let me go. I'm going to show this video. Wait. Let me see. Hold on.
We actually know today that plaque starts inside the lining of the artery wall before it protrudes into the artery and blocking blood flow. Additionally, we thought that plaque would grow and grow and grow until it blocks blood flow to the heart, causing the heart attack or sudden death. However, we know today that plaque is much like a zit. Before a zit bursts, it gets red, angry, inflamed, and festers, and has a thin layer of skin covering it. The same with plaque. As plaque sits in our arteries, and if we don't get our risk factors under control, it continues to stay angry, inflamed, and festers. And if we never get a thick cap developed over the plaque, it will easily burst. And when that bursts, it only has the arterial lumen to burst into. And that's what causes the sudden heart attack or the sudden cardiac death. So it is important that you get all your risk factors under control to stabilize the plaque and to prevent plaque from bursting. How do you get a thick cap over your plaque? One way to get a thick cap over your plaque is to complete regular aerobic exercise. When we exercise, we have smooth muscle cells in the lining of our artery wall, and they will migrate around to form the thick cap. So should we all exercise? Absolutely. If you have plaque, you can't afford to miss it.
Okay.
How do I know if I have plaque?
If you have risk factors for heart disease, I strongly encourage you to see your healthcare provider, as it might be recommended that you undergo a calcium screening. This can be done through the cardio scan. It will take images of your heart to determine if you have calcified plaque deposits in your heart arteries. Also, if you've had an angioplasty or stent or open heart surgery, you have plaque in your arteries. Once you know that you have plaque, that does put you at increased risk for developing heart events.
Okay. All right. All right. So what we look at is we look at education. Education is important for us to become aware of reversing. So if I say, how many sisters on here might have high blood pressure? If I ask that question, I might get maybe 50%. 50% of you all who are over 65 might have high blood pressure. And that means that the arteries are already being compromised. So now we got to go back into what are we eating? Because if we're still eating the foods that have high cholesterol, if we're still eating a lot of fried food, all of these foods will contribute over time to a buildup of the plaque in the arterial walls. So what we found out when I was telling you all about the technology that I was exposed to, that was like a James Bond type of watch. We would put it on the wrist and it would tell us how old the heart is. So we had some people, they were 40, but their heart was 65. We had some people who were 50, their heart was 75, their heart was 80, because of what they had been eating and the lack of exercise. I'm sure perhaps some of you all have heard of people like Heavy D. These are rappers. People like Mad Dog, or people like Levert. You all remember Levert, who was a musician. He sung R&B, and he was in his 40s when he had a massive heart attack.
Yes.
Well, we first look at weight. What is your weight? Are you overweight? Because that's one of the indications that you are not getting enough stimulation to your organs. Your organs are not working well enough. And so they're creating what we call the lack effect. The lack effect is the stimulation that has to happen to your organs to make them work better, to pump more blood and oxygen and tone your organs. So in the program that I created with the breathing, that's how my neighbor was able to lose the 45 pounds. We were having her breathe more than.
You went out, Dr. Hapi. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
I said my neighbor was breathing more than she could normally breathe. So her body was working better because we were changing the effects on her sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. We were toning her muscles of her diaphragm, and we were helping her to get better blood flow with more oxygen. So let me go to these books for a minute. Let me go to these books. I want to know if you all have heard of this person right here. I want to know if you all have heard of this person. Have you all ever heard of this person? Dr. Elsenstein Jr. He is a doctor
No.
that was at Mayo Clinic. He was at Mayo Clinic. He's still at Mayo Clinic. He's in his 80s now. And one of the things that Mayo does is Mayo is more of a preventive type of clinic. When you go there, they do some major testing. Major testing. Now, there was a patient I had, and this patient was 350 pounds. And this one day he came into my office, it was in the summer, and he was in the process of stroking. He had become clammy. He was a cold sweat, and he was losing strength in his arm, and he was fading. He was fading. So I had to do some emergency care to prevent him from stroking in my office. I never had no one stroke in my office. I never lost a patient. So I told him, I said, now you are in a very dangerous place. You are in a place where you could die now. You could stroke and die because you have all this excessive weight on your heart. Now, what was interesting, this same person was a friend of mine, and he would love to take us to dinner. So we would go to this restaurant called Rosebud. Anybody in Chicago knows this is an Italian restaurant over on Taylor Street called Rosebud. Very well known. The mafioso would go through there and everything. It was a very, very distinct old class Italian restaurant. And when we would go there, me and another friend of his, we would eat salads and we would eat escarola. Escarola is a green that most African Americans don't eat, but it's very tasty, escarola. And so they would saute some escarola with some olive oil. It was like Mediterranean almost. And so we would eat that. So this one day he said, because he was trying to eat what we eat, but this one day he said he wanted to order a filet mignon. Now, what is a filet mignon? He wanted to order steak. So we said, no, I don't think that would be too good for you because you're already overweight and we're sure you got heart problems and your systems are working poorly. Well, he did eat that filet mignon with some green peas and mashed potatoes and everything. It was after that he was about to have the heart attack in my office the next week. So I sent him to Mayo Clinic. And Mayo Clinic did a thorough on him. They did a thorough. They had to put a pacemaker in his heart. He lost 150. He lost 160 pounds. I put him into the breathing program. And in the breathing program, he was breathing better. He became a vegan. And so then his numbers got better. And so this was one of the doctors that was at Mayo Clinic that addressed his issues. So the reason I'm putting this book up on the screen, because I want you all to be doing some reading so that you can be learning more about how do we reverse these conditions that we get with the heart. Now, I'm going to put up this next book. You tell me if you've heard of this person. His name is Dr. Dean Ornish. Have anyone heard of him?
Yes.
Yes.
Reversing heart disease. Well, what is the main point of his book? The main point of the book is you must change what you're eating. So he started promoting vegetarian diet, just like the doctor whose book I just took off the screen. The one thing they both have in common is to start moving toward a plant-based diet. And they showed through their research The people who moved to a plant-based diet became healthier. So what president do we know who's now a vegan? Ex-former President Clinton. He is now a vegan. Well, why is that? Because they found out that he was starting to have heart problems because he had a high cholesterol diet, even though he was not that much overweight. So what I'm saying is that a lot of times you might think a person is healthy because they're not overweight. But what I'm saying is you could be overweight and that could cause you to have cholesterol in the heart, cause the heart to get plaque, and you could still have a stroke. Now, let's look at this next. Let me see. Let's look at this next book. Now, how many of us are familiar with this?
I have that book, Dr. Harpy.
This is good. This is good. 8 weeks to lower blood pressure without what? Without what here?
Medication.
That's right.
Prescription drugs.
That's right. So, Sister Christy, do you think everybody needs this book?
Everybody probably should have all of those books. That's why I have a chunk of us reading the green smoothie. So yeah, yes, absolutely.
So now, are we drinking the green smoothie? Because we should be drinking it every day. Are we drinking the green smoothie?
We have a group going. Dr. Blessman, Eddie Joe, Miss Shirley, and Dr. Cato, and myself, and we want the rest of them to join in with this. So absolutely, I told you we're gonna get healthy.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about this green smoothie. Let's talk about it. Well, what is the green smoothie? There are there's greens in there. But what is in greens? What is there in greens that you need that will help the heart? There's
nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide. But what else? What else? There is something called chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll.
But what is in the chlorophyll? There is something called hemoglobin. It's called it is hemoglobin. Have you all ever looked at your tests when they talk about hemoglobin on the blood tests?
Yes.
Yes.
Hemoglobin, when your hemoglobin goes down, it tells the doctor you're not getting enough oxygen. The doctor is going to put you on a respirator. He's going to do something. He's going to give you iron pills. He's going to do something to get your hemoglobin up. And what we're saying, if you do a green smoothie every day, you will be getting the greens that will help your heart to get oxygen. Oxygen rides on the protein, the hemoglobin protein. So if you get that smoothie every day, it will ensure that you got a greater chance to get oxygen into your blood cells so that your blood cells do not stick together. It's the sticking together of your blood cells that is one of the things that cause blood clots, along with what they showed you on the film. They showed you where the plaque can come from in the lining, up under the endothelial lining, and it could push out and it could bust open and it could cause all of that to cause a clot. Well, that happens when you got inflammation in the heart. That's what happens when you start feeling discomfort in your heart. So whenever you feel discomfort in your heart, what should be the first thing you should be doing other than just checking your blood pressure? You should be getting some greens. So one of the things that they talk about or you should be getting a green smoothie. One of the things they talk about, taking aspirin. Well, what do the aspirin does compared to what do the greens do? They thin the blood out, because the difference between the green and the aspirin, the green gives you the hemoglobin, which makes, with the chlorophyll, it makes your blood get the oxygen, and then your blood cells, they separate. And when they separate, they have their own space. And when they have their own space, it is harder for you to get a stroke when they have their own space. There's a test that we do. And this is a test. It is called the live blood cell analysis. Have anyone ever heard of this test? Because normally when you go see the doctor, he takes some of your blood, he sends it out, he brings back the results, and he says you got high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or you got high LDL, high triglycerides. But when we do this test, we take one little drop of your blood and we put it on a lab screen, a microscope, and we can tell if your blood cells are sticking together because it's in real time. The blood cells are moving, and if they're sticking together, it tells us how close you are to a stroke with that test. So then we would give the patients, we would give them these nutrients that I was telling you all about that went along with this test that we would do, which was like this watch that would tell you how old your heart was. It would show if your heart was in greater danger. And this was the test that we did to the patient whose blood pressure was 230 over 131. And that was the most dangerous blood pressure I had ever seen. And we got it back down to 110 over 70 because we changed the diet. We got her taking the nutrients and we got the heart healthy. When she went to a doctor, they couldn't believe it. They say, how can your blood pressure be 110 over 70 when it was 230 over 131? What are you doing? She said, I'm in the super wellness program. I'm in a super wellness program. And so when we think of health, we don't think of super wellness. We think of sickness. We think of, I just want to get my blood pressure under control with medication. But we don't think of that food is medicine and that we need to get the proper food and the proper nutrients, and God will heal us. God will take care of the problem. God will correct us because God is letting the body get out of balance because we're eating the foods that create it to be out of balance.
But you're talking, Dr. Hapi, from your naturopathic perspective. You're not talking from Western medicine as we practice in the United States.
And so what that says is we have to have a new model. It says the model that we have, it focuses on eating bad foods and taking a lot of drugs and still getting deeper into trouble. We have to have a new model. And this model, I have been exposing to our community for over 50 years. This model is not new. It's an old model. It's just that the public hasn't been exposed to it. So what do that mean? That means I have to do more education. I have to get out into the community to educate more, because just yesterday when I found out that diabetes is 91% in the neighborhood that I used to live in, that means all of those people are in danger of being on dialysis, because that's what happens after when your pancreas and your heart get in trouble, your kidneys, either your kidneys or the heart, going to take you out. And so we have to have a breakthrough. So this one deals with a breakthrough menu plan. That's what this deals with. And so this is a medical advisor. He's an MD. He's an MD. So I don't want you all to think all MDs are bad. All MDs are not bad. We have all of these these books I have put up are MDs, but they're MDs dealing with the new model. And the new model is we have to change the diet to slash cholesterol. We have to change the diet to slash diabetes. We have to change the diet to slash getting kidney problems because of the A1A. And so when I come on here, I'm coming on here to give us a new way so that we all can be healthy, especially you all. You all are the sisters who say you're trying to be like the ancient sisters, where they didn't have all this these McDonald restaurants. They didn't have all of these Wendy's with back in the day. They all were preparing the foods in their kitchen. They all had agriculture where they were growing the food and picking the food fresh, just like our elders did when they were down south, when they were growing their own food. So that's another thing when we talk about the garden, we're getting exercise and we're growing organic food. We have to step back into all of this. So now we're gonna take questions. We're gonna take questions because we went over some stuff, and I want to see if there's some questions. I want to be considerate of the time today because I usually always go over because I got a lot more stuff I was gonna present to you all, but I don't want to over. I tend to bombard you all, and I'm trying to be considerate of that. So, give me some questions now. Give me some questions.
I'll ask one. So once you've identified that you have plaque already in your arteries and stuff, is it possible for it to be cleared or removed?
Yes. Remember my patient who was 230 over 130. She was full of plaque. There is what the research shows now. It shows that there are certain amino acids that will clear the plaque. One of the amino acids is called citrulline. And citrulline, guess where that comes from? One of the foods it's come from is watermelon. Now, how many of you all eat watermelon? But you have to have a concentrated amount. So citrulline is one. And the citrulline, along with your smoothies and along with this one other amino acid, these two, they work to dissolve the plaque. Now, there was one product, it was called arginine 9, and it had a combination of citrulline and the other amino acid, and you would take it every day. You would drink it. It was a powder, and you would drink it every day. I had my patient whose blood pressure was 230 over 130 drinking it every day, and it dissolved the plaque. It dissolved the plaque and brought her blood pressure down to the 110 over 70. Sometimes her blood pressure would get down as low as 100 over 70. So that's a supplement. And then the research has showed that there was another doctor named Dr. Berger. And Dr. Berger was a MD who was doing research on the heart, and he was in Germany. And he came up with a formula. And these formulas, my wife take these formulas, and her blood pressure is good. Her cholesterol is good. The doctors were trying to put her on cholesterol medicine. Well, she took these supplements and in a liquid state, and it brought her cholesterol down, brought her blood pressure down. And she's on no medication. She's 79. So are there some other questions?
Dr. Hapi, how you doing? This is Shirley.
I'm good, Sister Shirley. Thank you for asking. I hope you are too.
I just recently requested that CT heart calcium scan. And I found out that it's covered under the insurance.
Well, which insurance? Because see, different insurance cover different stuff. And what insurance you have?
Well, I have Medicare. I have Medicare.
Which one? Which one? Which
I have
insurance?
Medicare,
Under what
United
company?
Healthcare.
United Healthcare. Okay.
Right. Now I do have the CPT scan codes because I don't think they used to cover it.
Right.
But they are covering it now.
Well, this is good. This would be a good test
but
for
I think
people
what you
to
have
request.
to do, what I did is I called around to various hospitals because they all seem to be different cost.
Right.
So I found it like $99 at one hospital, whereas
What
another
hospital was
hospital,
that? What hospital was that?
that was North Shore in Skokie.
Now, who lives in North Shore?
I don't, but the 30-minute drive was worth
Right.
it.
No, the point I'm trying to make, in our communities, we don't have access to these better services. They're better
Okay.
services. The point I'm trying to make, we don't have access to better services. Just like there's a Jewel food store in River Forest, and that Jewel food store has an aisle that has carbs. It has flour products in it. Well, what we found out was the flour products have 10 times the amount of gluten in there when they started recommending wheat. And we have Jewel food store that's closer to Austin area, and they don't have the same kind of products that they have in River Forest, where River Forest has 3,500 products that are gluten-free, but they don't have it in our neighborhood. So our people don't get access to the best food. So that's one of the reasons they talk about the food desert, because we don't have access to the best food. And then if we go to the hospital and we request certain services, they don't have it, or it's costing us more because of who we are. So yes, everybody needs, who are in the Chicago area, who's in this group, need to be going to North Shore. But that's in the white community, saying that is institutional racism at its highest level that is affecting our health. And so we have to become advocates like yourself, Sister Shirley, and request this at hospitals that are close into our area, and have the insurance company tell these hospitals, we're going to pay this amount that they pay out there at North Shore, because those people are healthy, because they get access to better services and they get access to better foods. So this is the advocacy we must take on if we are to get ourselves and our people healthier.
Well, the good thing about the test is that it actually gives you the amount of calcium that's in your coronary arteries, and it lets you know whether you have like you said, a large buildup of plaque, and if you are at high risk of having a heart attack.
Which is very important. We
Yeah.
need that at the hospitals closer to us. North Shore is way out there towards Skokie, Evanston, way out there. The average person in the neighborhood is not going that far. So we have to request it at the hospitals that are closer in our neighborhood. And also, when we're talking about the calcium and the plaque, we have to take K2. We have to take K2 with D3, so that the calcium is absorbed into the bones and out of the blood. People don't know that we need K2 with D3. A lot of people are taking calcium, but they're not taking enough D3, and most people don't even know about K2 because this is newer research. So we have to deal with the K. They have supplements now that have K2 and D3 in them, and they would help the calcium come out of the arteries and go where they're supposed to go, into the bones and the muscles. So thank you for that, Sister Shirley. I'm glad you shared that everybody on here need to be asking about that test, and they also need to be asking these doctors at the hospitals that they're associated with to give them the test. They need to check with their insurance Medicare provider to see if they cover that. Because
the easiest thing is to call the hospital.
Okay.
And ask them, do you do the test?
Okay. Repeat the test again so everybody can hear.
It's called a CT heart calcium scan. It's like a 15-minute test where they have you to lay down. They don't inject you with anything, but it's a scanning bed. And they ask you to hold your breath for 9 and 12 minutes. And what it's doing is taking a picture of the calcium that is showing up and whether you're starting to have blockage.
Okay.
put you at high risk for a heart attack.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Sister Shirley. So you found out that that hospital did it. So then you set up an appointment to go there and just get that test. You didn't have to go through no doctor, no referral, anything.
Well, it was one of my doctor friends who suggested that I check into it because I'm not a big advocate of putting on a lot of meds until I know what's going on. So she suggested it, but she said call around to the various hospitals and find out if they're not covering it, how much are they charging? So some hospitals were charging $500, $600, and some were charging $79, $99. So that was the other thing that I found out. Even if it wasn't going to be covered, I didn't mind paying $79 and driving 40 minutes away to go get it done.
So this was $79?
This and
Or $99?
It was $99, but at Northwestern, it was $300 and something.
But the one you went to North Shore, right?
Yes, I went to North Shore.
And you got it as an outpatient, and you set up the appointment through.
I asked them for the radiology department. But they were able to tell me on the main number that I called whether they even performed the test.
Okay.
Because it's certain equipment. It has to be done in the radiology department.
Okay, so you called the radiology department and set up the appointment with the radiology department to get it done?
Right.
Okay, and then so you set up the appointment, you went there, it took about 15 minutes, and then how much time did it take for them to get you the results?
I got the results back in about a week.
About a week. And then they showed you how much calcium was in your blood, right?
Right. And I actually had them to send it directly to my doctor because I thought they would be faster.
That's right.
I got my copy like within a week.
Okay. And they sent it to your doctor before then?
Right.
Okay. All right. Now, did everybody hear this? Did everybody hear that? Did everyone on here hear this? And can everyone start checking with the hospitals around them to check on this particular test? It's a CT calcium heart test, right?
Right.
Did everybody hear this? This is so important.
So I remember when I was working in open heart surgery, I remember a doctor saying that if people would just take this simple test. I was younger then, so I didn't get it. I didn't hear it. It didn't register. And then I started to ask around. My girlfriend said, why don't you go ahead and take this test? So I found it.
So let me ask the question to everyone. Have any of your doctors even talked about you getting that test to check your heart? Have any of you all even had your doctor ask you that?
No.
No.
So it means if you are going to be the steward of your temple like the ancient sisters were, this is part of your responsibility to be like Sister Shirley and to find out what hospital is close around you that can give you that test that's reasonable so that you can be about prevention. Because you all are the sisterhood that I'm talking about, who I would like to see make it to 100, healthy 100.
So now what happened to my brother? He's in Houston. He had to have a script, but he went to his primary. He didn't know about it. The doctor didn't really know about it, but he looked into it and told him yes. He gave him a script. You find it.
He gave him the prescription to go get it done.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it can be referrals, but here's the thing: you even have to be asking your primary doctor about this. You have to become the advocate for yourself, like Sister Shirley.
Because they may not
primary. to get a referral. To get the referral, if you can't just go in directly through a radiology department and get an appointment for it, ask your doctor for a referral so you can do adequate testing to know where you are. Like I say, every 3 months, we go to some hospital that's doing a health fair. We get cholesterol testing, we get the blood testing, we get the PSA, we get the prostate test, we get the bone density test. We be tested up and down, and we're not even a member of that hospital, but they have health fairs and they're trying to get new patients. And we go through, we get our blood sugar tested. So we get everything tested. We get our triglycerides tested and our LDL and our HDL. So we know exactly where our health is, but we have to get into it deeper. This is what Sister Shirley is talking about. These particular tests you can get done whereby it can tell you more without waiting to see if you are in a crisis that you got to then talk to your doctor. And now he's putting you in, he's putting you in the hospital. Well, let me tell you all about this. This friend of mine, his wife was on high blood pressure medication. So this doctor got some new medication. So he tells this friend of mine, he tells his wife, okay, we're going to try this new medication on you. We got some new medication. Well, they tried it. The medication caused such a crisis with her heart. He had to call 911. They had to take her to ICU. She was in there for a week and a half. She almost died, and the bill was $150,000.
Oh my.
And they had to pay $30,000 of that $150,000 that was the doctor's fault, but the hospital still charged them for the services because
Well, did they sue the doctor?
I did not ask them that, Sister Christy, but they could. They could. That was the doctor's fault.
And that was my.
They have a cap. They have a cap now.
Yeah, they're starting to cap everything. They're starting to cap everything now.
You know,
especially
so you
with the
can't,
COVID. You can't sue with the COVID. You can't sue for
Yeah.
none of
Well,
that.
that's because of the federal government is involved with that. But my comment with Miss Shirley and educating is we have to educate ourselves, because a lot of your primary care doctors and even some of the specialty doctors, they don't know everything.
I totally agree. You know, and listen, if you guys want to know more about that test, go to the American Heart Association or go to the American College of Cardiologists. Just put that in your
search engine.
browser.
Put in your Google.
Yeah, and then see what they say. And then, you know, when you go in there talking about it or requesting it, then you need to be more educated, in my opinion. You
That's
need
right.
to be more educated than they are.
That's right. That's right. And they don't like that. They don't like, a lot of times they don't like that.
They don't know. They don't know.
They don't know. They don't know because they only know what they know. So you all have to become your own advocate.
Trained to be preventive doctors. Again, Dr. Harpy, you know that. All of us know that. Miss Shirley knows that. They're only trained to treat you enough so they can collect.
Everything depends on what school they went to, what program they were under. But you know, listen, it's our system, it's our bodies. I say all the time.
Yes.
We can't depend on them to have us under the spotlight. We need to take care of ourselves and educate ourselves.
That's right.
As much as we can.
And that's what you all are doing. I'm so proud of you all. That's why you all are here. I'm so proud of you all. But here's the thing. We have to collectively become more active in the prevention. That's why some of you all who are not as active, some of you all who are on here and not keeping up or not catching up, it gives you the opportunity in these calls, in these Zoom seminars, to be catching up and to be hearing what's being said and being proactive so you can get healthier so that you can make it to 100. So are there any other questions?
I was gonna make a comment. My daughter works for one of the main grocers down here in Texas. And she always tells me that if I'm in the grocery store and I don't find what I'm looking for, to go and request it. And so you go take the time to go to the manager and request the products that you're looking for instead of just going to the grocery stores in the other neighborhoods, the more prevalent neighborhoods, and buying it there. Start requesting the products, the healthier products
Yes,
in your grocery store.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because again, if you don't request, they will keep serving, keep making available the same foods. And what we're saying in a food desert is not that you don't have food, it's just the food is so poor as terms of nutrients and in terms of all of the salt and the sugar and all of the high corn syrup and the fructose and all of the wheat flour that has the gluten that causes the body to gain weight, cause the body to overwork, cause the pancreas to overwork. That's why in this area, Austin, which is not far from me, I'm in Oak Park, that's why 91% of the people have diabetes. There's a lot of education has to go on, but here's the thing also. When people go to see doctors, doctors have about 10 minutes for you. They got enough to hear your complaint and enough to give you a prescription and send you on your way.
It's 12 minutes. 12 minutes.
Well, 12 minutes. Okay, so they're giving them 2 more extra minutes now. 2 more extra minutes. But again, they can't serve you if you don't know. They can't teach you enough in 12 minutes. That's why you have to be proactive. That's why I'm so glad to see all of you all on this call. But we have to tell more people. You have to tell more sisters because you will hear the story. Oh, so-and-so had a heart attack. Oh, so-and-so just died from a stroke. So-and-so just went on dialysis. Because we're not bringing more people in. We're not informing more people. But it's important. And I'm so glad that you all are on it. But we must share. We must share. So were there any other questions?
Dr. Hapi, I actually did the same thing as Miss Shirley. In the February, I wanted to see my coronary calcium score, but I went to a diagnostic center.
How much did that cost?
I got a full body scan for $1,500.
Okay. Okay. Well, now here's the thing. Was that worth it? Yes. Could we have got it somewhere else for less? Maybe. So in our research, we have to be now doing more research on places that can give us for diagnostic research, for diagnostic lab work, for diagnostic screening, because you all are the ones who are more up on your health than anyone. And so, but you got to share this information because where are you at, Sister Naomi? Where are you at?
In Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas. Okay, well that's a good place for the sun. So
and
you say what now?
Not helping me that much because my vitamin D, I struggle to keep it at a reasonable level because when my doctor first checked me, it's been about 10 years ago. Now it was at 9. And I said, how? I'm outside every day. And so now it's hovers around 68.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Excellent.
Supplementation. And I do take the D3 with the K2.
Wonderful. Are you getting your walking? Are you doing your walking? Are you getting your smooth? Are you getting your green drink, your green smoothie? Are you
I do a green smoothie for inflammation every day.
Oh,
I'm
wonderful.
having a hard time walking because I tore my meniscus 2 years ago and it's I'm just
now see if you were here, I would be working on you because I do some specialized work with the structure and strengthening up the structure with the work that I do because the work that I do, I was trained to work with the athletes and they always, tearing up this, that, and the other, the ligaments and muscles and what have you. And so we could have got maybe better care with you if you had been here, but I'm sorry you're not here because we would have been able to help you some. But one of the things we're going to be doing this summer, we're going to have a special 3-day event, it's only going to be about 15 people. It's going to be 3 days, and I'm going to be working on people, and we're going to be taking people through the breathing and everything else. I'll keep you all posted about it. But so are there any other questions?
Dr. Hapi,
Yes.
I got on, but I had to get off, but I've come back on again. And I don't know where you are in your, I know you're talking about cholesterol, but what about stem cells? How do you?
Yeah.
Now let me talk about that. Let me talk about that. Stem cells is something the body starts running out of. Starts running out of stem cells. As we get older, your body stops producing them as much. But there is a technology. It is called X39. Dr. Blessman knows about it. And it's a patch. It's a patch.
What?
It's a patch.
A patch.
Put on your body. And the patch, it received light it received light waves from the sun, and it helps your body to stimulate stem cells. Stem cells. Now there are also certain protocols in the eating that stimulate stem cells that I had started doing some research a few years ago, and I was getting the protocol out of Malaysia. I had to order it all the way from Malaysia to get these nutrients to help stimulate stem cells also. So we do have some technologies now to help stimulate stem cells, because stem cells are essential to produce your other cells so that your body can stay healthy. You got to keep producing new cells. Now, while we're talking about that, let us talk about zombie cells. Well, what cells are those? Those are cells that die in your body, and they're still in your body. And if you don't get rid of them, they help to increase inflammation. This research came out of Mayo Clinic. They started studying zombie cells that come from, as people get older, certain cells die off and you're not getting rid of them. So they came up with the research of a chemical called quercetin. And quercetin, they have a product called quercetin bromelain. Now, this product is from a company called Now. In this particular product, the quercetin gets rid of the zombie cells, and the bromelain help to decrease inflammation. So just taking these supplements, you could have less aches and pains in your body because you're getting rid of the dead cells that's helping to cause inflammation in your body.
And Dr. Harpy, you also could detox your body through a number of ways to get rid of those cells without taking necessarily quercetin.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You can detox also, but one must be careful with detoxing also.
Oh, yeah.
They have to be careful, because I know some people that detox and they got sick from the detox. So we have to be careful with the herbs. A lot of people can get griping. They can go into cramping in their stomach. So the detox have to be some excellent formulas of detoxing. I usually recommend to my patients a certain formula that's gentle on the system, and it detox all the organs, in the body. Now, when we talk about that, we then also can talk about, well, what would help with that after detox? Replenishing your body with more nutrients in a liquid state. Well, what is that? That's like a liquid fast that you're giving the body a lot of nutrients in a stronger way than what we're usually doing, because usually we don't consume too much. When we're fasting, we might not eat the foods we're eating, and we might not detox. And so we come on the fast and we come off the fast, and it wasn't really to the full benefit of the fasting, or the full benefit of the detoxing, the full benefit of rebuilding the body. So we want to take all that into account. So with